And Cole. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about like potentially changing out voters. They're talking about a system. They're talking about all that stuff. So hopefully it doesn't go down that lane. All right. Hit the like button. We appreciate you guys. Okay. I asked him the question, and now I'm going to ask you guys the question. So I believe it's going to be a complete rebuild. On WIP, I had Hugh Douglas ask me a question. No, excuse me. It was Rhea Hughes who watches the program. Thank you, Rhea. You know she's on the morning show at WIP. She can't come on because the Eagles told her she can't come on. So that was conveyed to me by Angelo and by Rhea. So we appreciate her, though, watching it. She thinks all of you guys are characters. Okay? All right. So they were debating an extension for Jalen Hurts, which I'm adamantly against, and I'm glad to hear Jason Cole say that. I'm not changing my offense to a spread offense with a quarterback who's not a spread quarterback and giving an extension this offseason. Do you believe the Eagles should give Jalen Hurts a contract extension? Now, what's the big conversation always? Howie likes to get ahead of things. How many people in here would extend him right now? By the way, I'm on the record. Never in a million years would I. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. ESP was saying that if they deny Jalen, Jalen should ask for a trade. Can I make a suggestion? You want to get rid of Hurts? Don't extend him. Call his bluff on that. I saw that too, Abe. You want to get that no trade gone? Don't extend him. That's why I say you let him play it out. If you don't extend him now this offseason, does that piss him off? And by the way, it's almost like betting on themselves. Khalid, no. Why would you? Hey, what I want to hear right now is, why would you extend him? And why would you not? Okay? Win another Super Bowl. Hurts then gets your extension. KCA. Hurts wins another Super Bowl. I'm going to make him the highest paid player in the sport. Because then he would have proved everyone wrong. And you can't deny 3 Super Bowls and 2 wins. And everything I said about being a caboose, you can't dispute it. It's irrelevant. Whatever I say, it's irrelevant. But they're changing the offense for a reason. Okay? Only if he wins the Super Bowl, he gets the extension. That's it. Nick's the caboose. I'm going to get as many of you in here. Okay? Why would you extend him? And why would you not? I'm not for extending him. Saves you money. Multiple no trade clause years, which I'm not a fan of. Telling Hurts shit or get off the pot this year. Okay? Kimberly. No. Okay? Big step back to get the head coach fired and no new deal for the quarterback. No, because he will play above his skill for a new deal. They already in contract talks. No, they're not. Elway, They may be in restructure, but they're not in contract talks. For what? Contract talks for a guy who finishes in the bottom of the NFL in passing? Why would you be? You fired your entire offensive coaching staff. Your passing attack's the worst in pro football, one of them, for any contending team. And you're going to extend that with contract talks? You fucking crazy. It's a bull-faced lie. I think it depends on how things look with the O-line and weapons. Okay? Yes, we extend him because we have nothing better on the horizon or anything close. I just saw Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. Okay? And see this dickhead? I just saw Justin Fields invited to the Pro Bowl, and I saw Shedeur Sanders go. Whatever, guy. We'll be telling if we get a quarterback in this draft. Absolutely. This is great stuff, you guys. It's a big conversation going on in Philly now. Do you extend Jalen Hurts? Or he isn't stupid. He knows Jalen's limited. I agree. He knows the quarterback's limited. Will it be telling him? Yes. Why would extend a black person, Sills? That's silly for us to even think. What are you talking about? I'm not even sure what the hell you're saying, guy. Sills, you're straight up moving the goalpost. What am I moving the goalpost on? Either that or you just can't follow along. 2 trips, best player in both. Dude, I just saw fucking Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl. It's still, and you still need another to win. I didn't say he had to win another one. I don't give a shit. He's limited. I think he's Sam Darnold. I think, okay, so if Sam Darnold goes back to the Super Bowl and wins another one, that dismisses everything about Hurts. Does it not? If Darnold wins another one or goes to another one, it dismisses everything, right, about Jalen. Does it not? Hey, dude, see this guy? So Jim Plunkett, according to you, is a Hall of Fame player too, and a great elite player because he won 2 Super Bowls and a Super Bowl MVP. Is that right? Dude, because you win a Super Bowl, that doesn't make you elite. That doesn't mean you're an elite player. Based on what? Nick Foles wasn't elite. Sam Darnold's not elite. Let's be realistic, Sills. Is there anyone out there better than Jalen that we may draft or in a free agent? Yeah, I think Mac Jones is a better pocket passer than Jalen Hurts. And if you want to go to an offense that spreads the ball with all your changes, that's why we started it off. With all the changes that you are not buying. Some of you don't buy the changes. You have changed your offense completely with your hires. They are not remotely close. The hiring of this guy, Chris Cooper, he does nothing remotely close to what Stoutland did. Nothing remotely close. Nothing. They are completely different coaches. Sills, how hilarious would it be if Tua comes and it takes Jalen's job? Yeah, well, I think Tua's probably going to the Jets. Either him or Kyler Murray going there. Sam Darnold got as good a chance. What's this? Sam Darnold got about as good a chance of me of getting to another Super Bowl. Really? They just won one fucking 2 days ago. You don't think Seattle's better than you right now? Are you under the guys that you think the Eagles are better than Seattle? Jalen has elite players around him and still struggles. Correct. Seals, what's the percentage do you think that Jalen will be productive in this new offense? The question will be on how much West Coast they put into it. If you're going full bore West Coast, 0. If they're going 60% new West Coast, he'll probably succeed. But all the West Coast terminal, listen, let me show you something here. And let's start from this basis. What is a prototype West Coast quarterback? And then you tell me if you think Jalen will have success. What is a prototype West Coast QB? Okay. You tell me if Jalen Hurts fits this ID of what they want to do. Okay. The prototype West Coast passing quarterback is a highly efficient, intelligent, and accurate passer who excels at executing quick timing routes and short to intermediate throws within a horizontal ball-controlled offense. They are typically characterized by their ability to process defenses rapidly, manage a game, and get the ball out quick. Every fucking thing that said there Hurts doesn't do. Precision timing. They are masters at rhythm, throwing the ball before the receiver breaks. Requiring excellent footwork and trust in the system. Accurate with a strong arm is viable. Extremely accuracy is a mandate. And more critical, pocket discipline. They are skilled at operating within the pocket, often avoiding sacks through anticipating rather than athleticism. This guy takes 45 sacks a year. Where in the world, in anything I've mentioned, Joe Montana, the original prototype, defined by timing, accuracy, calm, and demeanor. Brady amplified the cerebral, high completion, and accurate pocket passing required to run this system. Modern era. Now, not the Brady era or the Montana era of 1988. Modern era. While the West Coast system has evolved to include more RPOs, which the Eagles aren't running, quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers have been cited as the prototypical due to their ability with high-level processing. All shit Hurts can't do. Where in the world did you read anything on what a prototype West Coast in the past or modern that makes you think he's going to be successful? Warren Moon's not a West Coast passing offensive guy. He never ran. Warren Moon was a spread. Yeah, okay, a little bit. I say that. He was spread. Okay? Here. I'm a joke. Okay, let's see why. Keep on being, I'm not being biased. I'm telling you what you want to have. Dude, name calling is not going to change the fact of reality. That has no bearing on anything we're talking about. You're just a Jalenite. That's okay. And I don't mind it. Believe me. This doesn't upset me. You know why? Because you're not really thinking. You've got a different agenda. This is more something else with you or something. I don't know. There's something there that puts you in this place that you're protecting someone. At the end of the day, who gives a fuck who your quarterback is? Don't you want to win? Seals, what offense did Brady run in New England versus Tampa? It was checkdowns. It was West Coast. It was a spread, but remember, they had an intermediate passing game. Brady was the check down king. Remember what Bruce Arians, the big rub with Bruce Arians was, remember? No risk it, no biscuit. Brady never played that way. That's not his style of play. No risk it, no biscuit. Okay? Here, check this out. Tom Brady, first 5 years, Tom Brady was not a fucking RPO guy. They won with defense and they ran the ball. That guy he's worse than LJ. It's probably his brother. Bro, you're dumb. Sills, wouldn't they use West Coast until they hit the red zone, then implement their own plays? Listen, again, I personally think this. It's going to be interesting to see how much of the system that they're going to put in. They've made a complete overhaul. They've overhauled the defense, the offense. And they're going to overhaul the personnel coming up in the next 2 years. Why would you change just the coaching staff? So wait a minute. You're going to hire 5 new dudes. Let's see. O-line coach, passing coordinator, run coordinator, quarterback coach, and OC. 5 guys that are all on the same page. And the football team has been running something different for 6 years. And you think the coaching staff is going to change? Dude, the coaching staff is being brought in to change the offense. If you're going to change the offense, you're changing the personnel too. You are changing the personnel. All these problems go away if Jalen just runs more. That is true. Intern Sirianni, I want to give you credit for right here. If they came in and started wanting to have Jalen run more, like expanding his game from 22, I'll have a different tone. But they're not. I love how people keep saying Jalen is a winner, but can never say he's great. Listen, wait a second. Jalen does something that Sam Darnold did. Sam Darnold didn't have to be great Sunday. Don't turn the ball over. Run the ball. Be effective on third down. They were 6 of 15. He didn't have to be special. It's a perfect Jalen Hurts team. Right? He wasn't special Sunday. He didn't have to be. They played lights out defense. They ran the ball. They didn't turn the ball over. And they won. They won Eagle Way. Or the old Eagle Way. Right? I mean, Sam Darnold wasn't special. He didn't have to be. Not like the NFC title game. He threw for over 340 in that game, 3 touchdowns. They didn't need him to do that. Okay. Well, if the offense is going through AJ and Smitty, that means they're going to throw the football. That means they're going to spread it around. Well, Martin, you just can't be that predictable then from the pocket. You have to be more disciplined in the pocket, which he's not. he gets enough time. The offensive line was 7th in pass protection. Pass protection is not, a problem in Philly. Run blocking was. Which means what? Okay? They're hoping the offensive line can adapt to this system. Because why? That's where all the money is. Hurts is Marino. There does that make some of you guys feel better? If they go with an increased passing load, he fails, then what? That's exactly what's going to happen. Every single time that they've upped his passing, he's failed. He's failed. Here, just like we did. Okay? Here. Again, he doesn't even fit the identity of what a West Coast guy is. And I brought this up to you, and this is the last time I'm going to do it again. When you increased his numbers and his volume of passing, explain this away to me then. Okay? I want you to explain this away. Okay, let's see here. 15 turnovers and 17 ball games. That's 15 INTs. Now you add in his 9 fumbles that he had that year. He had 24 turnovers in 17 games. Then you add the 8 he had in the first 4. He had 32 turnovers in 21 games when they upped his volume in passing. Where in God's name do you see success with 32 turnovers in 21 games? Based on what? And this is what they're going to do? I really don't understand it. Okay? Okay, what are you talking about? I just told you. And he also had in 2022, let's see, 2022, he also had in 22, 780 yards rushing. Okay? Add that to it too. Don't forget, they were running RPO. And when he was, how many attempts did he have? He had 142 attempts that season. And it was the most, he was averaging 62 yards a game rushing. Do you know that if he would have played the final 2 games, he would have had 1,000 yards rushing? So take that out of the mix. He was on pace for a grand rushing. Last year, he had 400 yards. He had half that number. You keep missing the 800 yards. 2022 was Hurts' ceiling. Yes. When it's perfect around him, when they have the RPO in it and he's running, hey, guess what? Maybe they add that dynamic. How old is he now? When will his birthday be? When will he be 28? When will Hurts be 28? Let's see, Jalen Hurts. When will he be 28? In August, he'll be 28. Okay, for the start of the season, he'll be 28 years old. I doubt he's going to start running again. Out of those 5 coaches, Stout was the only constant. The rest are relatively new coaches. So I don't think there's that as big a factor as you think, Sales. David, these guys don't coach the way you've played for 5 years. What are you not getting about that? The things that when you hire an offensive line coach, You want him to fit the personnel you have, don't you? Here, let's take a look at Green Bay. By the way, the offensive line you hired, the guy, he failed in Minnesota. Let's see. By the way, I think you just hired him because there was no one else. No one else wanted him. Packers were 15th in total offense. They were 17th in passing. They were 15th in rushing. Shit, it looks like Kevin Patullo's offense. I mean, they look like the guys that you've hired from Green Bay. What made their offense better? I'm missing it. So maybe they're changing this offense so Hurts is forced to run RPOs. I don't think that's how that's going to work. RPO and better West Coast ideas, more checkdowns. So for the first time in his career, he's going to go to checkdowns. That might happen. That just might happen. Okay? I still don't understand the no trade clause. That's called having a brilliant agent like Nicole Lynn and Clutch Sports putting that in there. Dude, why in God's name would you give a no trade to a dual threat guy who could be hurt at any moment and plus a $50 million deal? I mean, you put yourself, if that guy has a catastrophic injury, you're in a bind. Because he could sit there for the entire remainder of the contract and collect the money. Or if you release him, cap hit, and he's at home making that money because it's guaranteed. Yeah, maybe. Seals, can you name a quarterback who has high pass attempts and low interceptions? You think 32 turnovers in 21 games? You think that's not high? 32 turnovers in 21 football games. 24 football games. No, 21 games. You don't think 32 turnovers is high? Above normal. Yeah, if you're throwing the ball 600 times a game, 560 times, and you've got 12 turnovers and 12 interceptions, yeah, that's acceptable. Absolutely, that's acceptable. 32 turnovers in 24 games, 21 games, that's not acceptable. I mean, that's a high clip, dude. Jalen, thank you for the ring of 24. In your prime, if you want an extension, you need to run. If not, go back to Houston. You'll be okay. Again, this conversation is, would you extend Jalen Hurts right now? Tanner McKee is better suited for this new offense. We can't evolve on offense. Hurts has to be the question mark. Let's see here, my friend. I thought I read that to you there, Mr. Hill. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I read that, brother. Yeah. We shall see later this season. Yes. Right. February 10th. I'm just telling you the changes that you have made are crazy. I really don't get it. Dude, let me say this to you. Okay? Khalid, I did. I went back and looked. I learned how to scroll. Yeah, I've got them all. Yes. Here, what was that? Let me see that. I mean, yeah. So again, this came up with because Rhea Hughes was talking, I guess, on WIP today, and I started getting some people texting me going, Sills, they're talking extending Jalen Hurts. And I'm like, are you crazy? They just changed the entire coaching staff. You don't extend quarterbacks when you change everybody out. Personnel's being changed. That's coming next. Now, do I think Jalen Hurts is being changed out? No, I don't. No, I don't. But I think people like AJ Lane, Barkley doesn't fit. Jalen running is what makes him decent. Jalen running is what makes him special. How many times did we see this year when he took off and extended series and all that? He's still great at that. That's right. Well, they're not going to franchise. I got the dates here and the days. Combines are in 120 days. Excuse me. Combines are in 12 days. The combines are they're at the 22nd. So in 12 days, the NFL combines in Indianapolis start. In 29 days, free agency starts. In 72 days is the draft. There's your NFL calendar. Okay? There's your calendar. And you got a lot of decisions to be made, especially with all this is a ton of changes. Lori and Howie are putting Hurts in a sink or swim here. Mediocrity isn't enough anymore. They want to change to see. I agree. They want to challenge him to see if they should extend him. I think that's a great take. I do. They're going to evolve the offense. And if he can adapt and evolve the offense, he gets his extension. Yes. By the way, they might extend him during the year if they see he's adapting to it. Before he gets into the end of the season, they might extend him. Like during the season. They're not in any hurry, but I mean, right now, I think he's in that position. Arch got better by the end of the year. Beat A&M. Won the SEC Player of the Week a couple times at the end of the season. If he were to go in this draft right now, he'd be the number one pick over Fernando Mendoza. I think. The reason he's going back to Austin is because he wants to have a better year. That really stinks that the radio station won't let Rhea come on. She's awesome. She loves the Phillies. Rhea watches. And by the way, Angelo told me this. And so did Rhea. Really have a great time going back and forth with the folks. A lot of the folks want to come on. Hugh wants to come on. Hugh Douglas wants to come on. He can't. Because Bob Lang stops him. Because again, as Xander knows, we have a propensity to put people in the corner, I guess, when we ask questions. Jalen is more effective when he runs for 80 yards than throws for 200. Yes. Actually, I think 45 yards makes him effective. Dude, anything over 35 yards for Jalen Hurts, he's impossible. What did Wink Martindale tell you guys? And what did he tell Jalen after the 23 season? We knew you stopped running. Once you stopped running, you weren't the same guy. Adam Kaplan's coming on tomorrow at 5:30. Sills, losing Stout isn't smart, but the rest of those coaches they fired didn't have experience coaching a guy like Jalen Hurts either. These new hires aren't a change, just more of the same. No, they're not the same. They're not the same guys. They're not run guys. They're not going to start with the run. They're going to start with the pass. No, they're not the same. They may be same in experience. Listen, I can't believe you guys. Do you think every coordinator is the same? That means you would have the impression that every coordinator wins games the same way. Like, do you think Cliff Kingsbury is a different offensive coordinator than Clint Kubiak? Now, some guys are like Ben. By the way, do you think Ben Johnson's going to continue to win with Caleb Williams? If Caleb Williams doesn't improve his completion percentage, they're going to fire his ass too. You can't win games completing 54% of your passes and think you're going to win 12, 13, 14 games in a Super Bowl with Hail Marys. What was Caleb Williams this last year in completion percentage? Don't replace his ass. Let's see what he did in Chicago. Caleb Williams. He was 52% in the playoffs. And he was 58% in the regular season. You're not going to win consistently with those 50-50 footballs on easy passes. Never happened. Not in the NFL. He's a short-termer too. If he doesn't get that up to 68, 67%, he's a short-timer. Or they're going to have to create an offense that he's running a lot. That guy stops running. Excuse me. If Caleb Williams stops running, he's finished. 56%. That's where Jalen has him. Jalen's in the mid-60s. Jalen gets away because he's more accurate. Caleb Williams hanging around 58%, 52% in the playoffs. Not fucking winning games. But still, he's got great arm talent. Yeah, you got to be accurate. You got to hit guys. You got to hit guys in stride, don't you? He's got great ability, okay? How accurate is he? He's not. Oh, shit. He's got great arm talent, but he's not accurate. Well, shit, does he have good arm? Wait a minute. You're telling me he's got great arm skill, and yet he's not accurate. How the hell can he be accurate? What if? What do you mean, what if? He's not accurate. What if? 52%. What if? I meant they're the same. If they don't have experience coaching dual threat guys. Correct. That's one thing in common. Your new coaching staff has no experience coaching dual threats. This time it's everyone. At least Stoutland did. Jeff Stoutland did. He had experience. By the way, these two topics are the topic of conversations right now in Philly. Extending Hurts and the complete rebuild of the offense. How far are they going to go, you think? This is going to be personnel too, right? They're going to change the personnel. You're not just changing the coaching staff. These are guys, not one of these coaches that you've hired. Let me think. Let's see the new coaches. New Eagle coaches. Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper tried to coach a dual threat offensive line for J.J. McCarthy. How'd that work out? Guy lost his gig. Let's see. Run game coordinator, Ryan Mahaffey, Green Bay. He's actually a tight end coach. Okay? I mean, and you're not going to have Goddard back. Pass game coordinator, Josh Grizzard. Okay? Got fired in Tampa. By the way, you want to know the conversation on why he was fired in Tampa? He was fired in Tampa because Todd Bowles didn't like the fact that he didn't call more run plays. You think he's going to call run plays in Philadelphia? He's not calling run plays in Philly. They're going to throw the ball in Philly. Wait here. I'm not shitting on these guys yet. I'm not shitting on these guys either. I'm telling you who they are. If me telling you who they are sounds like I'm shitting on them, well, then that's an indictment on their resume, not me. Shitting on them. Well, here, he thinks I'm shitting on this. Offensive line, Chris Cooper lost his job because he was an ineffective offensive line coach because they didn't redo his contract in Minnesota. They had one of the worst offensive lines this year in pro football. The run game coordinator, Ryan Mahaffey, has never been a run game coordinator. Josh Grizzard got fired in Tampa because of the inability to run the football. And Sean Mannion's been a coach for 25 months. If that sounds like shitting on somebody, instead of just telling you who they are, I really can't help you. It's shitting on anybody. Now, this is key too. Yeah, that's the next step in seeing what Howie does. What Nick has done is hired. Again, what's crazy is, you know who the offensive coordinator looks like to me? Nick Sirianni. Like, the offensive coordinator, it's Nick Sirianni. That's what it totally looks like to me. Because all these guys are just like so young coaches. They may turn out to be the best coaches that the Eagles have ever seen. And this guy, Chris Cooper, might turn out to be the next Jeff Stoutland. Okay? But you're doing that with Sean Mannion. You're doing that with Josh Grizzard. You're doing that with Chris Cooper. And you're doing that with Ryan Mahaffey. You're hoping all five of these guys turn out to be fucking elite guys. How many times have you ever seen that in a coaching staff? When you make 5 hires, they turn out to be the next coming of Jeff Stoutland or Vic Fangio. How many times have you ever seen that? Especially with the history in Philly of firing assistant coaches. Like I said, what I'm doing today is I'm trying to figure out what you're doing and why. Here. Yes, because any of the experienced offensive coordinators like Mike McDaniels didn't want this job because they were not going to make or take a back seat to Sirianni. Now, I think Nick's got a lot to do with this. This is an about face. Okay? This is an about face. in approach completely. Cincinnati has the worst cap, and I just don't think it's ever going to happen. It's not, because of Duke Tobin's not a bad personnel guy. It's Mike Brown. The quarterback deserves better. Hey, Sam Darnold shows you that. These quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and some of these other guys, it's just about the shitty organizations that they play in. You're damn right. Brandon Beane. Okay, wait a minute. So the Buffalo Bills have a generational player in Josh Allen. And the Seattle Seahawks win a Super Bowl with a journeyman quarterback. Figure it out. I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Right? I mean, listen, you're not going after Linderbaum, Edward. You're not going down that lane. You just gave this guy a 3-year, $20 million contract. That's not happening. I mean, the cap hit alone. Dude, the cap hit on Cam Jurgens might be higher than A.J. Brown. Can you imagine what Josh Allen or Joe Burrow would do with the weapons on this team? With the new coaching staff, probably, get this, if you had Josh Allen on the Eagles, just, again, I get it, spitballing here. With this new approach, yeah, be a grand slam. AJ's not going anywhere. I'm sorry. I don't believe the QB can do it. Guy blows his back out, needs surgery. Here's a contract extension. Hey, Xander and I did say that this offseason. Dude, it wasn't like a knee injury or like an ankle injury. You know, you tear a bicep or some shit like that. Some shoulder injury. This thing's like dude, backs are wild. And there's no given that you come back from that shit. Jills, my point about the new coaches is, how is it a big change? Because they're different coaches than the coaches you had. If both old and new coaches don't have any experience in dual threat, no. These new coaches are West Coast spread guys. The other guys are run-dominant coaches. Okay, look, the similarities are most of the coaches didn't have experience a year ago. Coaches don't have experience this year. One's a helicopter pilot. The other one's a airline pilot. You've hired helicopter pilots for an airplane. They're different. Do you think all coaching staffs are the same? Like when you hire why do you think Mike McDaniel? Everyone says that you didn't hire Mike McDaniel. Why? Because he didn't want to work with Nick? Or because he didn't like the style of play? What do you think attracts more offensive coordinators? What do you think? What do you think attracts more? What, a spread or run-dominant team? What do you think? By the way, your football team has content every single day. This is things you're debating in your city right now. Balanced? You haven't been balanced in 2 years. Shit, the offseason is going to be more interesting than the regular season. God, the offseason is long. It's so depressed. Well, wait. No. What you got to figure out right now is this. What's Howie going to do next? Okay? What's Howie going to do? Howie better sign an elite punter for all that. I don't think your punting is all that bad. In regards to Juergens, Ross Tucker had exact surgery. He said it takes a full year to recover. Let's hope. Okay? Agreed. I think that's what the Eagles are hoping. Xander, give me a thumbs up when you're ready, bro. All right. I think the content's been spectacular. I think some of you are having a really difficult time understanding what the Eagles are doing. Now, look, I'm not really getting it either. Okay? Just to be fair here. Okay? I'm not really getting it. Because when you're 50-8 and you 2 Super Bowls, okay? I mean, I get where you're coming from. All right. So, hey, listen. I thought it was interesting that Jason Cole said that he wouldn't extend Hurts. So we're going to start off with that conversation, and then we're going to go into Howie Roseman, and we're going to go into the direction. I know Big Z gets it, but that doesn't mean he